you, baby. So I stand up and speak just my mind. Oh. You're chilling when the rain. You're some kind of butterfly. Baby, you give me midnight. You whip up my appetite. Don't leave me high and dry. Baby, you give me ice and fire. You're channeling wind and rain. You're some kind of butterfly.
Room for improvement with this machine. Room for improvement with this machine.
Rise with the sun! Laid bare! Transfixed! Witness my rise! Overruled! Burn it down! Light of the blazing sun! Transfixed! Overruled! Burn it down! Pyroclastic surge! Transfixed!
Don't waste my time. Your life is mine.
Lightning flash! Light of the blazing sun! Incinerate!
What could the children be up to? Never mind. Let them do as they please. Something with which to commemorate this occasion.
Laid bare.
Everlasting as the moon!
Rise with the sun!
Overruled! What greater pleasure is there than the unexpected?
Pyroclastic surge!
Transfixed!
Burn it down!
Overruled!
Bellowing thunder!
Give up. Submit.
Rise with the sun! Light of the blazing sun! Incinerate! Switching gears. The rewards of an adventure worth remembering. Take this! Burn it down!
Something with which to commemorate this occasion.
Pyroclastic surge! Try and stop! Laid bare! Witness my rise! Go on!
A keen eye.
Rise with the sun! Light of the blazing sun! You wait! Pyroclastic surge! Light it up! Transfixed! Thunderclap! Pitiful. Burn it down! Laid bare.
Submit! It's nothing.
Wrath from the sky! Incinerate! Transfix!
This is where you fall.
Overrule! Pyroclastic surge! Incinerate!
It's nothing.
Laid bare. Lightning flash! Following thunder!
Witness my rise.
Light of the blazing sun! Rise with the sun! Burn it down! Overruled! This is where you fall.
Don't waste my time. Your life is mine.
A thunderclap! Pyroclastic surge! Rev the engine! Laid bare. Lightning flash!
Submit!
Wrath from the sky! Try and stop! Overruled! Laid bare. Give up. Rise with a... Witness my rise. Overruled. Pyroclastic surge!
Don't waste my time. Your life is mine.
Transfixed. Burn it down. This is where you fall. Overruled. Light of the blazing sun! Lightning flash!
It's nothing.
Let's ride! Rev the engines! Instead of confining themselves to the heavens, God should broaden their horizons in the world below.
You're here! Finally!
Is something wrong?
Monsieur Durvalette and Lady Farina, they seem to have gotten into a dispute. Please.
Like I said, I've already explained everything.
And yet the problem has not been properly solved. There is little space for excuses between us. It is not my intention to offend you, but please tell me where you stand. You are the Hydro Archon Focalor, are you not? Look at this. This is a list of the victims from the recent Poisson incident.
You mean they're all...
We did not arrive in time to avert this disaster, and I will not have it happen again. I will say this once more. You must tell me everything you know. Yesterday, I found 3 stone slates in some ancient ruins near Poisson. Do you know anything about those?
Seriously? You're questioning me like this is a court case now. I don't know anything about that. But you found them in some ancient ruins?
That's correct, which is why I came to ask you some questions. There should have been 4 slates, but one of them was missing. The other 3 feature different images that seem to correlate to the prophecy. The second of these slates depicts the previous Hydro Archon Egeria kneeling before a floating island in the sky, as if confessing something. Do you know nothing of this either?
I don't. I've never seen such slates.
I'll ask you again. Do you really have no information regarding that? My deciphering of the slates indicates that the Hydro Archon Egeria once had to confess to, or apologize for, a certain sin. If anyone would know about it, it should be you.
All gods don't have the same secrets, you know. She was herself and I'm me. I understand your concerns, but I'm sorry. I just don't have anything to tell you.
Forgive me for saying this now, Lady Farina, but I have long known of your various secret investigations into certain matters. There are several indications that you have been investigating the prophecy on the sly. This is not strange in itself, considering that you are the Hydro Archon. But it is strange that you should also claim to not know any of Egeria's secrets. You have never been as superficial as you have presented yourself.
So you've been watching me all this time, have you? I didn't think you were that type.
You...
Well, since you know about my secret investigations, then you should know I'm actually working to take care of it. There's no point questioning or suspecting me. You're the Eudix, but you're still my subordinate. You should be following my lead. Just trust in me, your Archon, and do as I say. Never mind whether you can truly convince yourself to or not. It'll all turn out fine. That's all I have to say. We do not discuss this matter again. Oh, the opera's about to start. Toodles!
Did Farina not notice us standing by the door? Wonder what's up with her. She was smiling. She didn't seem in the mood to care if we were listening in or not.
I assume you've been outside for a while now?
Oh, you noticed. Seems Farina didn't even realize we were here.
She was in a great panic, though I cannot discern the reason. Our discussion reached impasses time and again, a state of affairs that we cannot allow to continue. Still, I do not understand. Everyone in her inner circle has noticed that she is hiding some secret. The issue is her attitude. I fear that she will not reveal anything unless absolutely forced to. We may have to create a situation in which she will have no choice but to speak.
Oh? Like what?
Normally, people will
But Farina seemed...
We will need to consider this thoroughly, join forces with various parties, and then do what we can. If at all possible, I would prefer to recuse myself from this affair, but we must prevent the prophecy from coming to pass. This may be cruel to her, but who will lend us their aid to do so?
Well, that's everyone, huh? Speaking of which, it was pretty smart of you to think of hiding here.
Poisson was just involved in a disaster, so it's presently devoid of people.
And here you are drinking tea like it's the most natural thing in the world, huh?
That's what family should do. Sit and enjoy a leisurely time together.
It's nice to enjoy tea here, you know? Care for a cup?
Lend me your ears, everyone. Or perhaps one of you might like to start us off. How about you, friend?
Me? No.
Then, how about you, good sir?
I fear that I will cause the mood on this boat to become as somber as it is.
Well then, I guess we're lucky we've got a local like me to organize things. Wonderful, the spotlight at last. I guess I'll be facilitating things.
That was a little long-winded, don't you think?
Oh, you might be right. Anyway, to cut to the chase, our friend here, the Traveler, has brought us together to discuss something. As for what that is, well, let's start by saying that we'll be pooling our efforts together to create a series of traps.
Oh, how intriguing.
Well, it's just an expression, really. One that I just learned from Chlorand, and used on the spot. So, let's invite her to explain in detail. A round of applause, please.
Huh? Didn't you say that you would be facilitating?
Oh, come now. Your work doesn't involve much public speaking, right? This is a good chance to practice. You might even pick up some fancy oratory tricks to impress your boss with in the future.
I see. And what does my boss say?
He is glad that you consider him your boss. Do go on.
In that case, do any of you have experience hunting?
Not that I recall.
Fremine and I once used a wooden stick in a basket to catch wild rabbits when we were younger. As for Lynette, oh, right. You were sick that day, weren't you?
I've also gone diving to catch some fish before. Does that count?
I'm afraid not. You may or may not have heard, but Fontaine once played host to a group known as the Marechaussee Hunters. Though that was their name, they did not hunt animals, but rather various monsters left behind by the ancient dynasty of King Remus. Today, Fontaine's monster population has already thinned greatly, so the hunters have blended back into society, taking up arms in other lines of work. They even left a unique methodology of hunting in their wake. A trap comprises of the following components: bait, a trigger, and a containment device. Sometimes a lethal implement will also be necessary to deal with the prey. So, if we were to build a trap together, right now, what would you choose to build it with?
For me, I would prefer something basket-shaped. Pigeons and rabbits will see the bait and naturally enter the snare. Our line of work requires a deft hand, and we're some of the best in the industry, so you can count on our techniques.
You used some of those techniques while moving the people of Poisson, didn't you? My subordinates mentioned that you even performed some magic for the bawling children.
Yes, and I even managed to gather some intelligence in the meantime. I'm quite the multitasker if I do say so myself.
I'm afraid I can't claim that as my strong suit. I prefer more stable methods, like placing bait in the water.
Calm and steady. Exactly the kind of person who would catch loads of fish.
And I can be their assistant.
With discretion, I'm sure.
I'd probably use some sort of mechanical animal. I remember that you liked those too, didn't you?
I did.
What about you, Monsieur Neville?
I fear I do not have any related experience.
That makes sense. You usually solve problems directly, without the use of any such tricks. But I do have one more question for you, monsieur. If we were to create a trap now, how would you design it?
I would like for it to be effective, but bring no harm to the prey. A more gentle trap would be ideal.
Kind, as always. However, our intention doesn't necessarily change the containment device and the type of implement we need. If we wanted to kill the prey in one strike, we would need a powerful implement. However, that also goes for prey that must be captured and safely contained.
Wait, why's that?
Only a hunter who's a true expert at subduing their prey can snare it without harming it. The line that divides life and death is often...
So, are we going hunting together?
Huh. We hadn't thought of seeing ourselves as hunters.
If our means of capturing and dealing with our prey is to put them on trial, but we shall require much more courage than any hunter to judge a god, a being whose seat is an exalted throne.
Oh, so that's what's going on. Sounds very interesting.
Rev the engines!
बहुत सही आवाज बनती है। 42 HP उसकी 26 है। ये HP लेके भी नहीं आया फाइट करने तो नहीं आया। बाई चांस फाइट करना पड़ गया तो क्या करूँगा? पहले से तैयारी कर लेते हैं। फुल HP।
It's been a tough few days, hasn't it? Paimon didn't think the meetings would go on for so long, but everyone seemed pretty fired up. Paimon thought they'd be at least a little frightened. Well, Fremine was, now that Paimon thinks about... well... It's hard to say. Paimon doesn't have any experience with this sort of thing. But with you around, Paimon sure will do great. After all, you're the most reliable person in the world, aren't you? Huh?
Is something wrong?
Did you just pour some tea? Paimon didn't notice you doing that at all! Then what's that? Paimon's never seen that cup before!
Don't be frightened. I'm just joining you two for tea.
Who's that voice?
अरे भाई ये पीछे।
Aw, have you forgotten me already?
Wait, you are familiar.
The voice from the sky, Huh. You're feeling lost now, just as you were feeling previously. Consider me a passerby, just accepting a commission from my friend's disciple, the prophecy. Yes, what has...
What? Then is there any way we can...
I believe you have witnessed a failed attempt with your own eyes. Just as prophecies are usually the things that you shall see.
What is she talking about?
I believe that you understand, right? Ultimately, fate shall serve as your only guide, no matter what will happen in Tevat's future. All you need to do is to play your part. This was good tea, by the way. Thank you for your hospitality. Well, that'll be all for today.
The voice.
It's gone.
It's gone.
You are the living for us. Outside. Bye bye.
Alright, Kami. Hey, it's you who's getting lazy, okay?
Well, I see I've walked in on some lively banter. Fine, just fine. I went to take part in that Steambird panel. It turned out to be more interesting than I expected. Not all Fontanians are pessimistic about this. One journal...
did she have pink hair by any chance?
Pink hair?
Why, yes. It was Charlotte. I assume you've heard of her, no? That daredevil journalist? I'm in full support of her view. Prophecies are very important, but how can people allow their lives to be commandeered by just a few words?
That's right! Paimon's glad to hear something sensible for once.
Ah, yes. About what we had discussed, huh? Goodness gracious. Are you serious?
She said that even the god's gaze has blind spots.
Hexen Circle members are certainly anything but ordinary. As for the... but I've never met her, and...
Whoa. The Hexen Circle sounds like a scary group. But they must really stay in shape to live so long.
Their abilities alone are pretty terrifying. If she came to see you
Well, it's not like Paimon could understand anything she said.
Yes, she was quite... Perhaps it is some... Traveler? Paimon?
Oh, we're fine. We're just a little down right now. It kind of feels like the end is coming, you know?
I see. I feel that same sense of desperation, too. I guess you could consider me someone who has often witnessed fate, but even so,
Perhaps that's what N was trying to I did originally think of steering clear of all this, but I couldn't. Even if this is all futile, I still wish to help everyone. If we don't struggle to the last, then how can we face the end when it comes?
Huh. You do have a point.
There we go, talking about astrological principles again. It was worth trying to comfort you, even if only a little. I suppose that might be why we always seem to meet by...
Paimon feels kinda moved by what Mona said. But also kinda sad, too. Hey, Traveler. Paimon suddenly feels like going outside for a walk. Let's go. Let's walk around the city, shall we? There's a few spots we always like to walk by.
नहीं जाना है क्या? ऊपर ही जाना है भाई. क्या कर रहा भाई? अरे यहाँ क्या कर रहा था पक्के?
Full throttle.
सलमान खान
Huh? Let Paimon see! The underwater stronghold, the Fortress of Meripede, has continued in its noble autonomy. My recent attempts to enter the fort thus didn't so well the fort journalist. Charlotte took so she hasn't been able to get a hold of anything at seriously?
मैं तो खड़ा ओ भाई ये एंगल देख इसका एंगल ओ भाई पैर सब मुड़ गए देखियो एंगल देखियो ओ भाई ये क्या एंगल व्हाट द फक ये कैसे खड़ी है भाई रुक जाने का आया
These are the kind of headlines they're going for these days. These are the kind of headlines they're going for these days.
चाप तो बहुत अजीब तरीके से खड़ी लेकिन ओके फनी है इनका गाड़ी में होटल है क्या ये?
We're here! Paimon.
तू तो हंगरी रहती है
Hey, quick! Look! That's the limited edition, only 16 slices a day cake!
अरे ले भाई अरे मुझे मेरा मत्था खराब कर रही है
It was so delicious the last time we tried it. Despite the tense situation we were in, let's give it another go. Paimon's sure it'll be great.
दिमाग खराब कर रही है ऊपर से खराब कर रही है.
One slice of cake, please. Someone showed up after all. Oh, wait, you're the one from the Palais Harmonia.
Oh, are you here to buy cake too? It seems Monsieur Nervalette was right. You really can eat.
Wait, did he really say something like that?
That's right. Even he has his own preferences when it comes to food. As for me, I love the cake and coffee here.
Do you come here often?
Usually every day.
Every day?
It's part of my daily schedule, apart from work. I shall have my cake and coffee.
Then what if someone told you one day that this place would be closing soon, and you wouldn't get to eat cake here anymore?
But why would it close?
Well, Paimon doesn't know either, but maybe the waters will rise tomorrow. You know.
Oh, the prophecy. To be honest, I haven't paid much attention to that. No. Still, even if there'd be no more cake tomorrow, that wouldn't keep me from having some today. No. It's the same for eating in general. You might not be able to eat tomorrow, but if you can do so today, then you should carry on.
Huh.
Don't be sad. Excuse me, could I have 2 more slices of cake to go? These 2 slices are for you. Sijuin said that this kind of expression you're making is what humans call being sad.
Oh, you know Sijuin?
I sure do. She said that humans are creatures that are... I've got something else to do, so I'll be going now. You 2 try to stay in a good mood after eating already.
पंखे पहली बार देखे मैंने इसके पंखे.
All right, let's dig in. I'm sure this cake will be delicious.
Yes, you share.
It's more delicious than last time, and the flavor gets even better with the sip of. Sure would be nice if we could always eat delicious.
बहुत खब्बो है. खब्बो नंबर 1 है हमारी पायमा. खाना ले सकता हूँ. चीज ले ले यार बहुत जरूरत पड़ती है इस चीज की. ये भी ले ले भाई. ये भी ले ले बहुत ज्यादा जरूरत पड़ती है भाई. जैम भी ले ले भाई. कब जरूरत पड़ जाए कुछ पता नहीं चलती. शुगर. ओह शुगर. बटर भी बहुत जरूरत पड़ती है. क्रीम की भी बहुत जरूरत पड़ती है भाई. खाना तो नहीं चाहिए. मेरे घर की है क्या कुछ एटीट्यूड कहते भाई हमें इधर और नहीं है. और मेरे घर की ठीक है. ये तो बोले तो मेरे घर की है और जाने का रास्ता है क्या. हे असिस्टेंट आर्क और कोई भी है यहाँ पे. आई थिंक मैं पहले भी आया हूँ इसे. नहीं पता किस खड़े होकर बात करूँगी मैं. है कौन तू? हाँ आप करके बात करेगा बहुत मार पड़ेगी इधर.
Oh, we're near the Seabird office. Let's go look for Charlotte and have a chat.
चैट करने तुझे नेता बनेगी तो. तेरा बोला.
Wow! If it isn't the traveler at Paimon! Oh, have you seen the article I wrote about you?
Ha! You've got some nerve!
Oh, you needn't worry about that. I heard that you were in Poisson some time back, so I sent you a letter to discuss just that. It's all right, though.
Really?
You're almost a little too...
Oh, Paimon!
Still, what bring...
A friend of ours?
Ah, so you know Miss Mona as well. She's a guest columnist for our paper. Really good one. So she mentioned me.
She said that you're...
Nice.
Huh?
Oh, of course it doesn't.
Yeah.
Why not?
Oh,
So that's a yes? splendid! I'll tell the... Ooh, someone...
Wait, Charlotte, Paimon's still got a question for you.
And what's that?
If, just for example, Fontaine were to be flooded tomorrow, what would you do today?
Huh. That's the prophecy if you're seriously asking, from what I've seen, so in all likelihood, I'd probably still be prepping at the office. Just think about it. If this and then do you know what I'd do? Well, I'd write that story, send it for printing. I'm not a dreamer, nor am I a workaholic. But I do love my job. And I'd be proud of leaving such an article behind. I guess you could say that I was born to be a journalist. But anyway, that's my answer.
That's so nice. Anyway, let's go and take a look at the sea, shall we? The sea breeze and scenery can be a pretty soothing combo, huh? Paimon's been thinking, if it wasn't Fontaine, but all of Tevat that would be destroyed tomorrow, where would we go and what would we do? No, Paimon should ask, if you could choose... We've always been moving to the next destination, so we haven't spent much time thinking about these kinds of things. You mean, still traveling? Huh. Wait, isn't that what we've always been doing?
फोटो किसकी ले ली इसने? अब उससे पूछ ले। तू आते नहीं था जाते तो।
But it's still better than the Fortress of Mirapede, that's for sure. It's not only damp there, but salty too.
Ah, so the two of you are still here.
Oh, you're from the Palais Mermonia, aren't you?
Yes, I'm Isadora. Monsieur Nervillet sent me to look for you
So
two
you
before.
are under the impression
I heard that afterward you went to the court. Not at all. I'm well aware that you're friends of... Yes, inside the Opera House. The Maréchaussée Phantom has declared the
A riot?
Well, that said, I don't personally think it... Lady Farina was watching a performance at the Opera House. And while she was resting during an intermission, some other audience members suddenly started harassing, loudly accusing her of doing nothing about the prophecy crisis. And before she could respond, others started to join in. The crowd continued to grow, and protests against the Hydro Archon started to break out.
So people have started to put the blame on Farina. Guess they finally found an outlet for the pressure.
I agree. People will naturally rely on gods, as is customary. But the moment people feel threatened, God...
So what happened after that? Is Farina okay?
Seeing that the situation was spiraling out of control and that further argument was pointless, she claimed that she'd gotten tired of this and left in a hurry. The Maréchaussée Phantom had their hands full maintaining order and did not catch where Lady Farina had gone.
So, you mean she's still missing?
That's right. The Maréchaussée has dispatched many people to search for her. But we don't have any lead. That said, I don't think there's much to worry about. She is a god, after all. Even if she were to fall into the hands of rioters, what could ordinary people do to her? Good. Monsieur Nervillet sent me to tell you about the situation, but...
Don't worry.
Is that so?
Well, sounds like we should hurry over to Poisson then. If we know Farina, she won't try to fix things in this situation. Instead, she'll look for a place to wait up, and as when Nervillet was it would be hard for her to ignore being... Paimon thinks... Well, what in that case, there's not a moment to... This place looks deserted. Guess all the survivors must have evacuated already. All that's left here are signs of devastation. Could Farina really be here? Let's try to find her as soon as possible.
मरने जा रही है क्या? कूदने वाली है क्या अंदर?
That's Farina, right over there. She really is here all on her own.
Should I just give up? This is all meaningless. What was meant to happen did happen after all. Everyone's dead. I'm sorry. I am so sorry. Give up, Farina. There's no point in holding out. I'm sorry, but what can I even do other than to repeat meaningless apologies over and over? Who's that?
Don't worry, Farina, it's just us.
So it is you, blonde traveler from another land. Why, I almost thought you were someone from that mob of my ignorant subjects. Come to kneel and beg for my forgiveness.
Farina, you were crying just now, weren't you? The tear stains on your face are obvious.
What do you mean, tear stains? Oh, I remember. The show at the Opera House earlier this morning was so moving. I'm still trying to process it. Who did that uncivilized rabble think they were, disturbing my enjoyment of the arts? They even dare to tout their Archon. I must teach them a lesson. I can just imagine their twisted and frustrated faces once they realize that I'm nowhere to be found. Oh, and I'm sure Nouvellette and those people from the Maréchaussée Phantom... Of course not!
Hey, there she is! The Hydro Archon's over there! Quick, after her!
Farina, those people seem to be after you.
They are? They're just some rabid fans who want to cut the line because they haven't been able to meet me in person, aren't they? That's against the rules. I can't let them get their way.
Farina just ran off! Quick, we have to catch up with her!
तो कितना भागोगे? अब आमी देख ले यहाँ का देखा। वो कितना भाग रहा है भाई रुक ही नहीं रहे।
Hey, Farina! There's a good hiding spot over here. Quick, come to Paimon before the
What?
Hurry, they're almost here.
Fine, fine. I suppose haste is warranted. Lead the way.
क्या लेके आ?
Paimon's exhausted.
अभी तो भगत सकते हैं, अभी तो सांस नहीं बोल रहे।
I'm so tired. I mean, I merely gave in to the sheer enthusiasm they displayed. You're right.
Yep, that's a good girl.
What's happening? The ground's shaking. Is it an earthquake?
Yeah, a quake of this kind preceded the flooding in Poisson, didn't it?
It can't be. It's happening again.
Well, there's no need.
Yeah, I hope you're right.
9:15 तक
But the people of Poisson.
क्या?
It's true. I've been investigating the prophecy for hundreds of years.
Okay.
I once had informants all over Tevat,
Searching
searching for clues and feeding information back to me. I've tried all kinds of ways too to hold back the sea. Anything to keep the coastline from advancing. But all my efforts proved to be futile in the end. We cannot make an enemy of the divine. Give up. Indeed, I thought fate is real, but just now. It all, as long as the don't worry. I will keep hope alive for everyone until the very end. Well, that's enough for now. I got the impulse to play the stricken maiden, but honestly, considering my rank and station, that wasn't a good fit at all. Don't take any of what I just said seriously. How could I possibly let Fontaine fall to the whims of trivial prophecy?
Paimon could have sworn you were actually being honest just now.
Share my burden.
शेयर करते
That's impossible. It was fated right from the start that this would be my duty alone.
Even if you are burdened.
A witness. Yes, I've heard that you came to Tevat from beyond the stars, yes. And if Tevat is in its entirety... If that's the case...
अब बता स्टोरी बता ना क्या यार बताने में शर्मा रही है लड़की यार
Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes my opening performance. Now, without further ado, we may proceed to the trial of our god.
So this is what it is. Yes, you deserve praise for the effort you took to raise the dramatic stakes. Do not forget, however, that I am Focalor, the god of justice, the embodiment of justice itself. Does it not strike you as even the least bit absurd to bring the very concept of justice to trial?
May I interpret these words as your refusal to stand trial? In that case, you will have the opportunity to defend your honor through a duel.
You would draw your blade against a god?
याद है तेरा गॉड गॉड हो रहा है तू आ जा तू भिड़ ले कहना तेरा देखा तू कौन गॉड है कि नहीं झूठ बोल रही
It seems like you have made up your
का
mind.
पपेट है तू हैं गिव कर दिया
Paimon can't believe it. She just surrendered.
वही तो कर रहा हूँ गिव अप कर दिया उसने हार सरेंडर कर दिया
What the heck is going on? Did I just see an Archon surrender to a human?
Wow, how utterly humiliating.
Lady Farina, what is the meaning of this?
It would seem that there has been a misunderstanding. To be clear, the raising of both hands is not always an indication of surrender.
Looking for excuses again, huh?
I raised my hands just now to indicate my acceptance of the trial. No duel shall be necessary. I will admit that I'm sorry, everyone. I was unable to protect the people of Poisson. It is my duty to stand trial for my crimes. You are not the only ones to be disappointed in me. I, too, am exceedingly disappointed in myself. But now, it is time for the Hydro Archon to show you her courage and resolve. I, Farina, will use this trial to show the world the true meaning of justice!
दिखा
This
मैं
time,
भी देख रहा हूँ
I
तेरी मार मैं
will
लगाऊंगा
protect
पीछे से
you.
खड़ा हूँ I will protect you है
Applaud and rejoice! One of the most outrageous
समझ
and
नहीं आ रहा है क्या?
fantastical arcs known to the opera epiclese is now unfolding before your eyes. Mark my words. This shall be one of the most exhilarating and brilliant shows ever to grace the stage of Fontaine. The trial of the Hydro Archon, Focalor, will now begin!
करना चाह रही है पागल हुई है ये बता रहा हूँ मेरे को लग रहा है ऐसा लग रहा है पागल हुई है
Why does it feel like Farina just took over the whole thing? Like, come on! Didn't she just get forced to stand trial for her crime? Also, even though she's still acting super dramatic...
All right, then. Who will be my opponent in this trial?
The court asks the prosecutor to please take the stand.
Is that so? Very well. Then please speak, witness of Tivat, my accuser and fated opponent.
ठीक है चल रहा भाई मैंने भी चल रहा
Also, please allow me to ask, as a final question before the trial begins, just how much work did you do to force me onto this stage?
Well, we did do a lot of prep after the meeting that day.
I can go over the tasks assigned to the Spina di Rosula, since they were rather straightforward and easy.
Navia, the president of the Spina di Rosula.
Most of the people who participated in the disturbance this morning were my subordinates. They changed into plain clothes and came to the Opera House as regular audience members. But the people's resentment against their Archon has been building as more and more of the prophecy is fulfilled. A spark with, moreover, according to our understanding and analysis of you, when something like that occurred, you would likely flee the scene and head to Poisson by... So, we arranged for a second...
So, you mean... The ones who scoured the settlement for me were all...
And their goal was to force you to step into the giant magic box so you may...
That's right. That house was a magic box, rather than someone's residence.
As the super ultimate version of the setup that I used when I first performed at the Opera Epiclese, the volume of the box was increased by a whole order of magnitude, and the distance it traversed was the entire gap between Poisson and was an Archon. My thanks, Farina. Without your help, we could... Of course, this performance was only made possible with Father's support. The House of the Hearth spent a massive amount of labor in Mora to pull this off. We had to select a location, construct the giant magic box, dig a tunnel, and open up a path through the water. It was a lot of work for all of us.
So, in other words, the earthquake that we felt within the giant magic box was just a normal tremor from the transportation of the whole...
That's right. It wasn't a sign of another disaster to come.
Then, I can guess Nervilette and Cloran's parts.
Yeah?
You gathered a crowd, prepared a stage, and made sure that the champion duelist would be immediately ready for a fight. Also that as soon as I appeared on the stage,
Yes, that is correct.
Well, Clorand, I must commend... As for you, traveler, I suppose your role, you'd make sure that I didn't notice anything amiss before revealing yourself as my prosecutor. Oh? Is that so? Then I suppose... It's fine. The stage is already set, so there's no reason to disappoint the audience. Let's see this trial through to the very end.
Sir Prosecutor, please allow me to pass this along. This is a document that Miss Charlotte...
Huh? Charlotte wanted to give us something? Oh, so she's here too! Hey, oh, let Paiman see. Isn't this the exclusive interview that she did with us before? So she's already finished it, huh? Wait, then that means this document is a perfect time. So in other words, we can refer to this anthology of evidence every time we want to use something. Let's quickly confirm the information in it. Just think of it as a refresher, alright?
You defeated the Hydro Archon in the very first duels you took part in at the Opera House. I didn't think that you'd wind up getting this as the first time, Monsieur. The words of someone as I nearly lost. According to the fortress of Fatui Harbinger, she's an extraordinary person. Her instinct. A Fatui Harbinger. She's an extraordinary.
The prosecution and the defense are both in position. The trial shall now begin.
Oh, come on, Nervylette. There's no need to repeat all the unimportant legalese. Just fast forward to the part where the prosecution lays out my offenses. As the defendant and the lead actress of this performance, I still haven't even been informed of my supposed guilt in all of this. Of course, it is only natural for humans to struggle to understand the actions of a god. However, you will need more than that to convict me of a crime.
That's true. But my charge here is unrelated to your conduct as an Archon. Instead, I would like to charge you as a fraud who's never been the Archon in the first place.
Wait, what was that? Lady Farina's a fraud?
Hey, I came here thinking that we were going to try the Hydro Archon for Forsaken.
Charge accepted. Lady Farina, do you plead guilty to the charge? Lady Farina.
I plead not guilty.
You know.
How can I be guilty? There is no way that I, Focalor, otherwise known as Farina de Fontaine, a member of the Seven and the Regina of all waters, kindreds, peoples, and laws of Fontaine, could be anything other than your true Archon.
Yeah, even though Lady Farina can be rather eccentric, isn't it going too far to doubt her very identity?
Yeah, I've never questioned her identity either. Sure. Lady Farina.
I have cause to believe that common sense will prevail in this case. Many of the members of the audience have known me as the Hydro Archon ever since they were born. Let's see. Even the Oratrice has decided to. If you wish to drop the case, I can promise you as the God of Justice that you will not have to face trial for making a false accusation. We will treat everything that's happened as a dramatic spectacle and move on.
An argument with near impossible odds, huh? We have to not only refute Farina's claims, but also overturn the long-held beliefs of the people.
Well, I tried to give you the chance to surrender. If you must persist, then let me ask. If you believe I'm not the Archon, then what manner of And if I was not the Archon?
That doesn't sound right. Paimon doesn't think this clue. First of all, you may be a member of another long-lived race, which would allow you to naturally possess an extended lifespan. And second of all, even if that wasn't the case, there could be other ways to extend your life.
Who gave you that idea? Was it the knave? You'd sink so low as...
A curse? I once thought it possible that the aura of an Archon might naturally resemble a type of curse. But in light of this claim, perhaps what I sensed was not your divinity.
Nervylette sensed it too, huh?
Lady Farina is actually a human?
Well, it is true that it's extremely difficult to tell you.
Well, don't start celebrating too early now. Even if I have been carrying a curse like you. Besides, everyone knows that the main difference for centuries, manifestations of my authority have served the nation of Fontaine. One need only to turn their eyes towards the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinal in this very opera house, or consider the indemnitium that is used in every aspect of life.
That doesn't sound right.
डिफिकल्ट हो गया चाइल्ड का बचा हुआ है
You tried to reference the Oratrice, but weren't you as confused as all the rest of us when the Oratrice declared Child to be guilty without any proof? Otherwise, you should have come up with a good explanation for that by now.
Didn't I make myself clear at the time? The decisions of the gods are naturally difficult for humans to comprehend. There is no need to provide.
Lady Farina, I believe a reminder of your current circumstances is in order. While the court is in session, the principles of justice and the law must come before all else. While you are an Archon, you are also first and foremost the defendant in this trial. You will prove yourself unable to defend against the prosecution's charges if you continue to withhold vital information against the rules of the court.
I never thought you'd use that kind of rhetoric against me.
That was no trick of rhetoric, Lady Farina. I've merely reiterated the rules of the court. Rules that all should respect and follow.
So, you neither knew why Child was declared guilty, nor did you understand the structure and operations of the Oratrice. Instead of having been created by you, the manifestations of authority you mentioned have been made by the
real Hydro Archon. Well, now you're really losing me. It is true that I did not know why the Oratrice gave out a guilty verdict that day. But the Oratrice handed out that verdict unilaterally. And it has been operating in... You can't argue that...
She's still throwing out all kinds of
my power as an Archon. You don't need to go that far.
Aren't you the Hydro Archon? Or is it that you can't even wield the power of Hydro?
Indemnitium! Yes! It's all because of Indemnitium! All Archons derive their thus did I give up all of my divine power to provide everyone with energy for their daily lives. Have you ever seen a more magnanimous god?
Isn't that?
Yeah, no matter how generous an Archon...
It seems like nobody's buying Farina's...
Hey, come now, everyone! Please don't stare at me as if I was a liar! I'm still the same Farina you knew, right? The one that you please. You've got to believe me!
If what the prosecutor said is true...
Did she deceive all of us? And all of our parents and grandparents too? And...
Enough! That's enough! Tell me then, if I'm not the real Hydro Archon, then who is? If you have no evidence of another Hydro Archon's existence, nor can you find anyone who can back up their claim to be such, then what grounds have you to say?
Wow, she came up with yet another argument! That doesn't sound... that doesn't... that doesn't...
ये नहीं लगता बचा क्या अच्छा जी ताऊ बची बस
It has been established that all Fontanians can dissolve in water from the primordial sea. And that means...
Since you insist on claiming to be a god and not a human, then there's a method that you can use right here and now to eliminate all suspicions of you being the latter.
Miss Navia, please apply to serve as a temporary attorney for the prosecution before addressing the court. Though you act in partnership with the prosecutor, you must still adhere to proper procedure.
Super sorry, Monsieur Chief Justice.
Super sorry.
I swear this really will be the last time that I'll speak out of turn. Now, I've brought some seawater from Poisson. As everyone knows, a massive flood struck the area including those of... So, Miss Farina, would you dare to touch some of this seawater? If we are to believe that you are indeed the real Hydro Archon, touching this seawater would have no effect on you. But, if you don't dare to touch it, then we would have basically proved the reverse. Oh, and I must remind you that after the disaster at Poisson, nobody wants to see any more people dissolve. I do hope you'll act prudently and choose the simpler path of admitting guilt.
Navia from the
Spina di Rasula. Spina has governed Poisson for many years. I guess her suggestion.
If Lady Farina is indeed...
आजा उधर है नीचे कर हाथ डाल गिला उतार के डालियो.
Lady Farina, this test has been unilaterally proposed by the prosecution. As it falls outside the realm of standard court proceedings, you possess the right to decline.
Well, of course he had to tell her that. But refusing to participate is basically the same as a confession of guilt.
She's just staring at the water without saying a single word.
What's going on? Is she really planning to... that's not what we thought she would...
Due to the inherent risk of the test, Lady Farina, you may...
Hey!
I'm fine! Look at me, everyone! My head... Will you believe me now? I really am your Archon! I'm nothing like a normal human who would fall apart as soon as they touch this water! Really? Was this not the most obvious thing in the world?
Miss Siegewin? If you're present, Miss Siegewin, please come forward and attend to the defendant.
Siegewin? Don't be nervous. It'll just take a few seconds. Let me see. That should be enough.
Please announce the results of your evaluation to the court, Miss Siegewin.
As everyone doubtlessly saw, Miss Farina was displaying symptoms of hyperventilation and flushed skin. These indicate that she was experiencing the adverse effects of exposure to primordial seawater. The extent to which she was affected is the same as other humans when exposed to primordial seawater of a similar concentration.
Thank you, Miss Siegewin. Lady Farina, you may return to the defendant's stand.
Oh, wait. What did she just say? I didn't get dissolved. Shouldn't that be enough to prove my innocence?
Well, considering your tendency to run from your problems, we did originally prepare a direct sample of the seawater around Poisson. However, after extensive discussion, we exchanged it for a sample that is not concentrated enough to dissolve an actual human. After all, on the off chance that something entirely unexpected might occur, we don't want anyone else.
Yeah, so out of it, it's a great thing that the direct sample...
Listen to me, everyone! Please don't think about it! How can you conclusively prove that an Archon can't also be affected by the... Also, if I was really just a human, why would I dare to just put my... Please, everyone, anyone, just listen to me! I swear, I really am your Archon!
I don't think anything she says at this point will sway anyone. The odds are just too stacked against her now.
With all the things that have been said, Paimon doesn't think there's any...
I believe the time for arguments and presentation of evidence has come to an end. If there are no objections, we will move on to the final judgment.
think anything she says at this point will sway Angel is too stacked against her now.
In my capacity as Chief Justice, I shall now render judgment on Farina's misrepresentation of herself as the Archon of Fontaine. As a human who knowingly deceived her fellow citizens, Farina is guilty. We shall now turn to the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinal to render the final verdict on the charges.
इसने कर दिया होगा चाय दे रहा थी पार्टी कैसे हट गई किसके नाम से बन रही थी आईडी
According to the judgment of the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinal, Farina is
MS
What's wrong? What's the
Oratrice's verdict? हाँ तो वही आईडी हमें और कोई आईडी नहीं पासवर्ड डालना पड़ेगा तभी खुलेगी नहीं तो नहीं खुलेगी
No, the Oratrice also displays a guilty verdict.
Isn't that correct then?
However,
पासवर्ड डालना
the
पड़ेगा
exact wording of the verdict is thus:
आईडी का चलेगा ही नहीं
the Hydro Archon, guilty to be punished via the death sentence.
The death sentence?
That's actually one of the available sentences? I've always thought that it was just a myth.
The one and only time the death sentence has been handed out at the court, and it's been given to the very person we've worshipped as the god of justice? What an unexpected twist.
Farina's been sentenced to death by the Oratrice? We just wanted to use the trial to show her the seriousness of things so she'd tell us the truth. How did things escalate this quickly?
This outcome is indeed quite strange. According to Fontaine's current definitions of justice, as well as its recommendations for criminal sentences, is this sentence really appropriate for the crimes that have been committed?
Yeah! Even Fauché wasn't sentenced to death by the Oratrice. You know, the real evil mastermind behind the serial disappearances case.
Indeed. Not only is Farina's sentence overly excessive, the very point of our trial today was also to prove that Farina has never been the Hydro Archon in the first place. But now, the Oratrice seems to have deliberately invoked the title of the Hydro Archon.
Excuse me, if I may interrupt. Is the trial still going?
Fremine! You finally made it. I assume this means you've completed your mission?
Mm-hmm. Any mission Father assigns...
Is that the first prophecy? Huh. So the knave privately arranged for Fremine to try and find the missing slate!
I looked everywhere and finally found it at the bottom of the sea. It took me a long... But has the trial already concluded? Then... doesn't that mean I've come too late? Oh no. Father will be disappointed in me.
Thank you for your hard work, Mr. Fremine. Please allow me to review the record left on the slate. Traveler, I believe that you have already seen the other existing slates, and would like you to come here and confirm their contents.
Huh? So what do you see? What is it?
I believe I have now made sense of the Hydro Archon's crime. It has to do with Fontaine's lost history.
Huh? Isn't the Hydro Archon just guilty of deceiving her people? Oh, wait, no, that's Farina, and we've already proven that she's not the Hydro Archon. So when you say Hydro Archon, do you mean the real Hydro Archon we've been kinda talking about?
In truth, everything that you've However, I'm uncertain as to how much sense they currently make to you.
Okay, let's try to recall the contents of the other 3 stone slates. Paimon will do her best to help you remember. The first stone slate describes what you Does that mean that... The second stone slate, this must be the point when the third slate shows that... Huh. Well, the fourth slate is the... They didn't believe that such a crazy... That doesn't... That doesn't... That doesn't...
We know from the case and the first, this might be the...
That doesn't...
The prophecy from the if
sound...
Perhaps what... And...
That doesn't sound...
It's not as simple as falling into the sea. When Navia fell into the...
They'll dissolve into the primordial sea but won't cease to exist. Their essence will flow in the seawater, converge, and take the form of an oceanid. The Hydro Archon was sentenced to death in court, shocking everyone present. Perhaps Navia fell into the water inside those ruins, and she nearly dissolved. She was surrounded by the people of Poisson in a court with... The eruption of the primordial sea at the fortress of Meripede was the surest sign that the prophecy was about to come to pass no matter what. The stone slate's contents can all be verified by recent events. Huh? Oh, Paimon gets it now! So, but then it feels like we're going to have to...
Let's hear them.
Incredible! Linny, did you hear that?
We're not real human.
All Fontanians were originally created by the late previous Hydro Archon. The evidence for that can be found in how only Fontanians could dissolve in primordial seawater. Oh, and according to Navia, when she was about to get dissolved, she also saw everyone gathered around for a trial. All of them in the shape of oceanids.
Indeed.
Yeah, and it follows from the content of the first slate that could also...
The Hydro Archon's true sin was creating us?
And yet, after many hundreds of years...
Yeah, so wouldn't it be trying to show the image in the end? Did Paimon get all that right?
You've made some keen deductions. I must say, given how much... However, while you were able to decode all the information on the slates, they've also been... When we were at the ruins, now that the slate collection is complete, I shall make another attempt to decipher the narrative recorded within. If everything goes well, we should finally be informed. I believe I should share this truth not only with you, but with all the people of Fontaine. Your hypotheses regarding the origin of Fontanians and the sin of the Hydro Archon were both correct. In the Fontaine of old, the previous Hydro Archon sensed the yearning of her Oceanid familiars for life on land. The Oceanids were enamored with the beauty and romanticism of human beings, and wishing to have those experiences for themselves, expressed to the Hydro Archon their desire to become of a symbol. However, even though water as an element is intricately linked with the power of life, not one to give in, she eventually found a way to create permanent humanoid bodies for her familiars by appropriating the power of this planet's primordial sea. She poured primordial seawater into the Oceanids, but if Fontanians were to ever come into direct contact with water from the primordial sea, the power... Of course, the Hydro Archon never received permission from the heavenly principles to create a new human race. And thus, the Hydro Archon and all of her creations came to shoulder the original sin of appropriating the power of the primordial sea. That is the true...
So you...
That's way too much information for me. Wait, but if that's the truth, we can't let...
This really...
Alas, your hypothesis regarding the third, a key point of the vision, they have not been dissolved. The nation of Fontaine is the nation of Hydro, as well as the nation of Trials and Justice. Instead of being the literal element, the water in the scene symbolizes judgment and justice. You may also recall Navia's experience. When she fell into the sea, her consciousness was surrounded by that. Therefore, the meaning of the third slate is... that the people of Fontaine shall try the Hydro Archon at the Court of Justice. Yes, it refers to our...
I think I'm following now. So, what in truth, everything we've done has happened exactly as the prophecy foretold.
What should we do?
Huh. No matter what, the prophecy will be fulfilled.
If that's the case, does that mean the scene in the fourth slate will also be fulfilled soon?
Traveler, I would like to point out another small fallacy in your deductions. About the fourth slate. You probably thought that the eruption of primordial seawater beneath the fortress... However, I believe that rather than being a sure sign, that eruption could in fact only be a small warning of something far worse to come. As for the root cause of the catastrophe, this eruption was just a small warning of the things to come. We must find the root cause of the disaster.
That doesn't sound quite... That doesn't sound... That doesn't...
It was both
If we're talking about a true culprit, that could only be that thing inside the Primordial Sea, right?
the truth, the original sin, the trial, and the root cause of the disaster.
That was way too close! How did that thing just burst into the Opera House? Wait, was that the huge whale you saw in your dream?
So we've met it at last. I understand very well why it has chosen to make an appearance here. That whale does not belong to Tevat. It is a monster that has traversed the stars, weeping all the while. It has been greedily consuming the energy from the planet's primordial sea, using it to grow. That is the main cause for the rising sea levels. And once it has finished consuming all of the energy contained within the sea, its next step will be...
You said that when the Hydro Archon first created...
Precisely. That whale finds the blood of Fontanians nigh impossible. Therefore, when it left the Primordial Sea, it decided to make its next stop a packed opera house full of food.
We just barely managed to push it back, right?
That is correct. Indeed, it is more accurate to say that we should thank that Harbinger for buying us some time. Without him, the whale would have likely come onto land far sooner. From the way he looked, he must have been fighting the creature for...
That battle maniac! Anyway, now that we...
It is too late. It had already absorbed too much of the Primordial Sea's energy before we could... Even if the entirety of Teyvat were to be destroyed.
That's not something I will accept. We've already done everything we can, and we even found the true culprit. We've come so far. You can't just tell me that the last hurdle is some
Indeed. That's not...
I'll fight it to the end.
So the prophecy will be fulfilled no matter what, huh?
The prophecy. Just as prophecies are usually only the future as seen from the perspectives of the gods, ultimately, fate shall serve as your only guide, no matter what will happen in Teyvat's future.
What's happening with the oratories?
I believe it is preparing to carry out the death sentence.
Farina! No, I still need answers.
You...
Sorry. That shocked expression on your face is just too amusing. I couldn't help myself.
You are not Farina. Who are you?
The sweet sound of bewilderment. Marvelous. A sure sign that my attempt to deceive everyone was a resounding success.
Focalo. Why?
Oh, that wasn't my goal, of course. Goodness, no. But I had to fool everyone else too. If the heavenly principles.
Deceiving the heavenly principles?
It's all because of that pernicious prophecy. Dreadful, wasn't it? Everyone doomed to dissolve. One was not amused. In fact, one was positively bemused when that problem was thrust upon me by my... She knew full well that the prophecy would surely come to pass. And as one of the seven, she also knew full well that one defies the heaven... So yes, as you have no doubt surmised, it was a rather... I spent a terribly long time mulling it over, alone on the ocean floor. And I had to outwit the heavenly principles, allow the prophecy to be fulfilled. I'm a genius, I know. I can only assume that's why Egeria chose me as her successor. Although, looking back now, it was hardly the inheritance one dreams of. But one can only play the hand one is dealt. I did not choose this. Any more than I chose to be.
So you were also once one of the OC...
Yes, I was. I always dreamed of becoming human. And I still do, even now. In my eyes, to be human is to be part of the greatest opera ever known. After becoming a god, I separated my divinity from my body and spirit, leaving behind only a self that was as naive and bewildered as my past self on her first day as a human being. The me you see before you now is that divinity, and the human counterpart I left behind, I named Farina. She could feel joy, sorrow, and everything in between. She could be as vain and conceited, or as meek and vulnerable as she wished. Her strengths were of a kind only a human could possess, as were her shortcomings. But in my eyes, Farina's humanity was what made her perfect. She was perfectly human in every way, the person I always wanted to be. Anyway, so then I cursed her. All part of the plan, of course. Do you still remember the final scene of the prophecy? The Hydra Archon. In order that the prophecy might appear fulfilled, I invited Farina to be an actress, to play the part of the Hydra Archon in the prophecy. Under the curse I placed on her, so long as I, Focalor's divinity, continued to exist, she could not die. But instead, I suppose now you probably understand.
But Farina is only, even though she has had a long life, her mind is no stronger than that of any other ordinary. I cannot begin to fathom what she has had to endure. It must have been torture for her.
It has indeed. And although she is, in a sense, me in human form, it's been fought, and all along, she's been playing her part in the most unimaginably long, unbearably lonely, and agonizingly painful opera of all time.
Oh, who permitted you to come onto the stage? Now, I understand you're... All right. It is not my intent to reprimand you. There is no need to state... Oh, I am Focalor. Dear audience, the performance is experiencing a technical difficulty, but worry not. The guards shall resolve it soon enough.
Rev the engines! Laid bare. Don't waste my time.
Take this!
Light it up!
Hey, what gives? The audience is still watching me, you know. Guards? Wait, where are the guards? Guards!
Incinerate! Overruled. Burn it down! Transfixed!
Farina. Farina.
Huh? Who's that? Who's calling me? Where are you?
Be not nervous. Be not afraid.
Wait a moment. You're near me? How can this be?
Mirror you, huh? You know what? That's not bad. Let's go with that.
Mirror me.
The prophecy.
What prophecy? The people will all be dissolved into the waters, and only the Hydro Archon will remain, weeping on—
Oh, very good. You know it well.
What's going on? I can't seem to remember anything clearly. The only thing I know for sure is this prophecy. Will it really come to pass?
Yes, it will. And that is why I've come to you. Disaster will come to Fontaine sooner or later. Things—
But doesn't that mean everyone will die? I'm a Fontainian just like them. Will I dissolve too?
Oh, don't worry. Magical meetings exist in this world precisely to give people a chance to turn things around. It is the reason why I will tell you how to save everyone, but you may—
Oh, so there's still hope. As for the suffering, well, I will admit that the first thing that came to mind was, but if the prophecy will come true, if there were—
I suppose this would also—
Huh?
Don't worry.
Play as.
That's right. If you can keep it up, then I shall.
But
don't worry. What you must do is not to turn yourself into being a human. Remember, your true child.
So how long am I going to have to play this role?
To accomplish this mission, you will have to stay on the stage for many, many years. You will endure and not grow old until you're Tapat. I promise you. All will eventually end in a magnificent and dramatic trial, and everyone will be saved.
A trial, huh? How exciting. I'll be looking forward to it. The Maison Cardinalise. What should I say? Ladies, I'm sure you've all heard about. In truth, I know little about becoming a nation's new god, but it will be as the god Focalor, the god of justice. Once again, thank you all for coming. If you should have any questions or suggestions, please send them to the Maison Cardinalise. The future of Fontaine will require us to work together, after all. This should do it. I thought I might stammer, but thankfully, I was able to convey my thoughts just fine.
That's the new Hydro Archon. Is this some kind of joke by the Maison? I would have thought that a being that surpasses humanity would be a bit more assertive.
Hey, did you hear that? She even told us to send her suggestions that—
Shouldn't gods be all-powerful? She's being so modest. What's the difference between her and an ordinary person, then?
If you ask me, perhaps the succession didn't actually happen. She might just be a Maison-backed puppet.
Wait, what's going on? Why is everyone suspecting me of being a right? Mere me said, calm down, Farina. Think. Assertive, with a strong sense of presence. One who can dispel all doubt. Oh, now, I was wondering if some weak pup... Well, it seems that you would all see right through them. Having passed my you may consider my previous
So that was just a performance. How could I have forgotten that we were...
Personality? It's quite shocking, to be honest, but I suppose it's a better look than before.
Such a fascinating and bold deity. How wonderful! Our future may yet be bright after all.
It seems I've turned them around. My dear people, whether you acknowledge me or not, whether you trust me or nay, I say to you, we have heard it said that this won't work. They'll suspect me again. I must play the role that they want. No, this won't work. They'll suspect me again. I must play the role that they want. No, this won't work. They'll suspect me again. I must play the role that they want. No, this won't work. They'll suspect me again. I must play the role that they want me to. No, this won't work. They'll suspect me again. I must play the role that they want me to. No, this won't work. They'll suspect me again. I must play the role that they want me to play. No, this won't work. They'll suspect me again. I must play the role that they want me to play. The scales of justice should not weigh heavy in the hands of its god. On one side, it must carry fairness and justice. And on the other, praise and applause. May law be the prayer on our lips. May judgment be our worship.
हेलो गाइस, मेरा दर्द हो रहा है बॉडी में। कल ही खेलते हैं यहाँ से, तो टाटा बाय बाय गाइस।